Oh.
All right, let's get your Instagram going.
Hey there,
welcome. Hey, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day, and Dr. Cody and I are live again as well. Always a pleasure, my friend. I think I have that exact same sweatshirt
from Lululemon.
Love that sweater. Is that a Lululemon? Yes, I have that exact same one. It's about time to bring it out now that it's fall.
Yeah.
And I think I'll be doing that so we can match. We should have matched today. We should have coordinated on this, but
yeah, Lululemon, you get stuff there. You got to get it when you see it because they don't make a new one. It's a great business strategy.
Yep. And I heard there's something called Viore out there. I haven't checked it out yet, but there's like a new brand that's pretty cool that's similar to it. So gotta go check that out.
You haven't checked out Viore? Come on.
Not yet. I'm behind. Kids these days tell me I need to go do this. So
oh my God,
maybe I should go check that out.
Yeah, Viore is out of control. I actually wear more of that than Lululemon now.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll start doing it. All right, everybody, whoever is tuning in with us today, we're going to be talking about something really interesting. So I just got back from an amazing weekend out in Wisconsin with a bunch of beautiful human beings, beautiful men and women, inside and out. A kind of a private, almost like Burning Man, private festival type thing. And several people asking me like, hey, how do you recover? Like, how do you recover from dancing and sometimes being up all late? We did breath work. We did other workshops. Like, it was a very, very high intensity thing. And generally you have like a big spike and then you have a come down and then a recovery. And so you want to take care of yourself. So I usually recover really well from these kind of things. And that's why it brought up the kind of topic of, why is it that sometimes people can't relax themselves, right? Why is it? And like you kind of raise of hands, everybody who's listening, let's be real. Like, how many of you want to relax, know what you need to do to relax, but then when you try, you either distract yourself, you feel guilty, or you just can't settle down, right? It's not because you're doing it wrong. It's because your body has learned that stress is safe and calm feels dangerous. So I want to talk about this with you, Dr. Cody. Like, why do you think people are struggling more than ever to actually really slow down, even with the access to the tools they have?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's first of all, there's certain personalities that naturally will have a hard time slowing down.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so like there was originally this is a beautiful system, but it works really well to look at. But Aristotle originally created the like endomorph, mectomorph, endomorph. Some people remember those. There was a gentleman
the three types of body, the body types, you mean?
Yep. There's a gentleman that came on and added 2 more. And so there's 5 personality types and there's mixtures of them. Okay. So I just want people to understand though, certain personalities will move faster. Certain personalities will end up moving slower. And so the personalities, I'll just be clear, the ones that have, I call them the producers. These are people who are fully production driven. And they want to move forward in life. Those people have a very hard time stopping because they're about production. The other personality that has a hard time doing this is what I call the varietists. They're very variety driven people. You and I are both varietists. So love pleasure of the senses, love people, love enjoying different sensations. Good food is also right, but we love being stimulated. And so it's important to understand that it's not just a general thing, because some people naturally will thrive off of like high stress situations. Like, you put me in front of an audience, I thrive off of that. Just like you, man. So there's other personalities that are very internal. So it's important to understand what I call the thinker personality. That's where someone's just fully knowledge driven. They could spend time inside a book and not see anyone else. Okay. So just understand from a personality standpoint, it's important to know your personality. And if you are one of those people that are like, man, I love, because that's what I've been most of my life is I love being with lots of people. It takes a lot for us to burn out, but we do burn out. And when we do, we crash hard. And so, right. Yeah. So that's why I say it like that, because if you're like production driven, variety driven, it's even harder to actually see the balance in this. So if you look at it from that standpoint, and then take into account the way our world is wired, it is all wired for stimulation. And so one of the things that happens is we end up associating, I think, regular doing this with success, meaning you have doing this then being this. So the more I can do, the more success I have. And so rewiring my beingness to being success versus the doingness, I think, is a huge thing in putting it all together.
Yeah, beautifully put. Beautifully put. Okay, let's expand on that then. So the nervous system adapts to what it experiences most often, right? So if a nervous system is like constantly in fight, flight, or freeze, that becomes a baseline. And then anything slower than that actually feels threatening to the system. So I hope that makes sense for everybody, right? This is how we've been wiring ourselves for a while in a high stress society. The hustle, the grit, the work hard, especially in the U.S. Right? This is mainly U.S. I go to other countries and they way more relaxed and they have way better regulated nervous systems in many places. So with that being said, it's not, you can't think your way into this into it. Really, it's not like about your thoughts necessarily, though those are powerful to relax. But if you try to relax, your body is like, nope, this isn't familiar, this isn't safe. This stillness and quiet, it will start to probably, if you're trying to meditate, if you're trying to have those moments of stillness, it could just be really, really hard to meditate. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, I just don't like meditating. I can't do it. It's so hard to sit still. This is why, because the nervous system is so used to going and going. So it's like racing thoughts and stillness, anxiety after downtime, overthinking or looping, open loops, feeling lazy when resting, and then always needing background noise or stimulation. All right, so just having pure quiet can sometimes freak people out, or even in conversation, longer pauses get people to be like, "Okay, no, I can't stand this. We need to get out of the silence." So, I wanted to just kind of go over some of these things that people are feeling and experiencing, and it's okay. It's not your fault. It's just wiring. It's just programming. So let's talk about like how we can get out of that, like trauma, hypervigilance, and like the always on pattern. It's especially I think prevalent for people who are high performers, coaches, facilitators, CEOs, people out in their jobs with high stress jobs. What are some of the things, how can we kind of align with these patterns and learn from some of the high performers that you work with and some of the clients that you work with?
Yeah, there's two things that I love that question. Let's go through that right before. I looked up some statistics to kind of back up what you're saying. And so typically we can associate stress with sympathetic mode. That's pretty much what we're talking about. So someone doesn't actually stop to actually let themselves de-stress. So there's a report, 75% of Americans report emotional symptoms of stress in America. 75%. These are actually stats that are done. 83% of American workers say they're literally experiencing emotional stress. So 83% of people that they did in these studies were saying, yeah, right. So this isn't a small thing. And what it really is related to is, and the other pieces to understand is that we know that stress creates dis-ease. So I want to, the reason it's such an important topic is like, if you want to, people ask me like, hey, how can I improve my immune system and not get sick, improve my health? Then do the things that we're about to review here.
Right.
So, yeah. So first things, I'll go through let's go a few things back and forth.
Yep.
I'll say one of the first things, this was a secret health hack in terms of really getting to parasympathetic mode, but increase your diet specifically. When you are burning sugar, you have a very low tolerance for stress. So when I say sugar, white bread, cereal, pasta, cakes, and of course, candies and sweets. I want people to understand this. If you are a sugar burning mode, which happens because you eat a lot of sugar, and our food is full of sugar, alcohol, straight sugar. Even people that go, my friends that go, oh, no, I drink vodka. It's very clean. It is freaking sugar. It's not clean. Alcohol breaks down into sugar in your system. But understand that if you burn sugar, you have less ability to adapt to stress in your life. The human body is a fat burning machine. That's what it was born to be. So when you burn fat, you literally have the capacity to switch between parasympathetic and sympathetic. When you're a sugar burner, you have less capacity to switch between those two modes. So that's one of the first things I would say.
I love, this is exactly why I wanted to bring it up, because you're going to go off topic of some of the traditional thought patterns. But one, what we're eating, right? Every single day, we can easily think, oh, it doesn't really affect us, but in the overall scheme of things, it is. So if you're saying that if someone's switching over to doing a detox of alcohol, doing a detox of sugar, after a little while, how soon can somebody start seeing, a lower stressful nervous system? And we're going to talk about some other things for everybody, but just from the food part, how have you seen that? Because I really want to drive the impact of this. How have you seen that change people's lives from a stress reduction, calm reduction standpoint, from just cutting out sugar and alcohol?
I would say we've got it down to a science. So give yourself 40 days, 40, not 30. Do 40 days, no bread, cereal, rice, pastas, sugars, and alcohol. Watch what happens to your life. It is unbelievable. When you pull this out, so understanding that fat has 9 calories per gram, sugar or carbohydrate and protein have 4. So if you switch over to fat burning, you have double the energy than the person sitting right next to you. Right. So this is why it's important, because if you're using that crappy fuel source, the byproduct of burning sugar is inflammation in your body, arthritic conditions, so early aging. Okay. Now they're also calling, this is important, we're starting to call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes.
Wow.
Because it's too much sugar in your brain. So you want to look at this. This is not just stop eating sugar. If your system is full of sugar, you have less capacity to actually switch into parasympathetic mode. And you are literally, I'm going to say this the most nice way possible, you're literally dumber than you should be burning fat.
Say it, because we've got to hear it. This is why I want to bring these up. Yeah. Okay, so sugar and alcohol, going on a little bit of a detox. We're only talking about 40 days here to see how you feel. From there, you review the data and do it. But that's one, it's a simple hack, may not be easy, but it's a simple hack. And we got to look at forward. I mean, you and I'm 44 years old. I'm looking at the next 40, 50, 60 years. How do I stay as young as possible and make sure I'm not going through what my grandfather and my dad went through with dementia, with Alzheimer's, and with my dad's heart attack and stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff could have been prevented by simply being aware of what we're putting in our body. Okay, that's number one. Number two, starting with breath. You and I both have done breath work on here. We do this in all our programs. One of the most simple ones, if you want to start retraining, again, this is not about the mind, this is about retraining the nervous system. It is one great one is box breathing. And that's a 4-7-8 is the one I like to do the most, like long, slow exhales. It engages your parasympathetic nervous system. So, and it's down regulating when we're doing a longer breath out than a longer breath in. So we go 4, 7, right? You can go 4, 4, 7, 7, or 8. You just go keep going around in a box and holding it. And we can do this if we want to. We have a little bit of time, but box breathing is really important. If you want to start slower, you can go 4, 4, 6, 6, or if you want to, just as long as you're keeping that breath in, holding, breath out, holding, and doing the box breathing. That is a great way to start training it. And you only have to do it for a few minutes a day. Another one is, instead of like meditating for 15 minutes or stillness for 30 minutes or an hour, I think, I wanted to see what you think about this, doing micro moments of stillness, 2-minute pauses, not 60-minute meditations, literally in between, like I'm on my computer and okay, I'm going to task switch to something else now, or I finished this one thing, then it would be like, take 2 minutes in stillness, turn all the music off, turn everything, close the laptop, get away from the screen a little bit and just go sit in nature if you can, or go sit somewhere else from your desk, or go lay down and just give yourself, put on the timer, 2 minutes, and just be in stillness and silence. Micro adjustments can turn the huge direction for your body and for resetting the nervous system.
Yeah.
Any additions to that before we go into more?
Yeah, I want to back up what you're saying though, but the why behind this would be, many people have heard of HRV, but the heart rate
Hmm.
variability. And your heart rate variability is very, when you're stuck in sympathetic mode, you have a low HRV, and it's your ability to recover. And they've linked like low HRV with early aging and many things like this. So one of the number one things you can do is like this breathing process. And I think breath work is one of the biggest, like easiest things you could do that we all forget about, because
Hmm.
it's because it's free. It's oxygen. It's right there. But this will activate, doing the breath work that Aaron's talking about is will stimulate the vagus nerve, right? The vagus nerve helps to build your parasympathetic tone. And I think it's the best way to say that, because what you're doing, what most of us are doing, is building our sympathetic tone, meaning we're used to that frequency. That's why we're comfortable with it, right? But when we go to parasympathetic, it's very uncomfortable. It's like, what is this thing where I'm not thinking and I'm actually relaxed? We don't know what that is. And so the breath work, I think, helps to build the tone in the parasympathetic mode.
Right. And like we said earlier, it's the nervous system simply right now knows only that it's not safe to go quiet, that it's safe to be in hustle and in this fight or flight or freeze state. So we have to retrain that slowly and surely. It's a slow, rhythmic, familiar repetition is what I want to put it as. Like, not forcing this. This is something you just start adapting to your life really quickly, and creating little putting on your timer, and just like for 2 minutes a day and multiple times during the day, just have 2 minutes, and that 2 minutes can add up into 10 minutes of silence. And 10 minutes every day is way better than zero. And your
Yeah.
nervous system start to do that. Again, the more that you expose your nervous system to more stillness, silence, and breath work, the more that's going to have a compounding effect to allow you to truly begin to relax and notice, wow, I can breathe full and easy. And you ever know, like, anybody, like, raise your hands, kind of like, have you ever not been able to take a full breath and not get like a full sense of relaxation, right? I sometimes I'll even notice, that's when I notice I'm not in my relaxed state, is that I'm like, whew, no matter what, I can't get a deep breath here. I need to do breath work. That's my cue to, like, okay, I'm going to jump into at least a 20-30 minute window. And that's me, because I've done a lot of training on breath work and I walk people through it. And it's amazing how even I'm like, wow, I didn't realize I needed that so badly. Those are my internal cues to be able to do
Right.
that.
That I was going to say that that's really important. I think those small moments. It's interesting, because what we tend to do, when I hear from people say, I just don't really have time for myself. And what I hear them saying is, I'm going to force my body to have to shut down and get sick to force me to take those times. I just heard it just like 5 minutes ago,
Mm,
or 15 minutes ago, from someone who's a high performing woman running, multiple businesses.
yeah.
And it's interesting, because I realized one year that if I stopped and took breaks, so I would go like months. You probably see this. I would go months not taking a break. Then I would get sick, and I'd have to close down my entire week. And then as I was sitting there sick, I asked my question: what would have happened had I just maybe taken a few moments out of each day, or even an hour off? I think you're actually saving time by taking those moments off, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes off, than if you don't. I don't think it's a waste of time. I think you're actually saving time, and then you're building that repetition. And so I think that's a huge one, man. I like that one a lot.
I think you're right. It's a multiplier. I mean, if you look at, let's just take, I'm a huge Formula One fan. If any car, if you redline it, if you're redlining the RPMs for a long extended period of time, the car is going to not, it's going to break down. If we're
Yeah.
redlining ourselves, and basically a high level nervous system that is not able to relax even for just a few minutes is redlining. So we've got to bring the red line back this way, back into the black, back into that relaxation time. It's not sustainable. But also, like you're saying, I've had the same thing where, yeah, when you go out or you go big, or you're going out and you haven't calmed your system and you redline, but then you go out and you're like, oh, I'll be fine. I'm going to go out late. I'm going to go do the things. I'm going to go have fun with everybody. And maybe it's sugar, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's not. Then the recovery time of that does take longer. And the older that our bodies are getting and we're not trained, that becomes harder and harder. So we owe it to ourselves. I believe we owe it to ourselves to go ahead and start doing these small breath works, the box breathing, the micro moments of stillness. And then even this is about touching or soothing your body. So simply massaging your heart or your belly. I don't know if you've ever noticed, like, just touch can be so comforting. touching yourself, yes, but like not in a sexual way, in a relaxing, like meditative way. Also doing this, if you take a moment and just kind of close your eyes and rub your fingers together, either your pinky or your thumb, your index finger or your middle finger, and you just do it slowly. I found this very meditative. I found this at a workshop, and you try to feel every single skin pore. You just relax. You just put your go ahead, put your fingers together and just start like literally starting to feel all the little bumps, all the little things in your finger, and it can be so meditative. Sometimes just rubbing your chest, rubbing your stomach, rubbing your shoulders, even just like for a little bit, just giving yourself sympathy and love, and just a little bit of touch can be soothing. And so these breath, micro moments of stillness, and touch can be those little things that you do that have a massive effect, makes everything else easier or unnecessary, and allows you to keep going without dis-ease in the body. And then on top of that is the big one we talked about, is cutting out sugar, cutting out alcohol for 40 days, and then seeing how good you can feel. Because this is all going to allow you to get into that relaxing place that creates, here's the word, safety in your body. It's craving safety. Your mind, your unconscious, everything's craving safety. So we can give ourselves these little gifts of safety, especially as we're coming into fall and winter. Things are going to be calming down a little bit. Things are going to be slowing down. It's a great time of the season to start giving this to yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to add, I know we're almost at time. I want to add one more. I think that's because we're adding things that are very simple, and you like, there's no reason to not do them because it doesn't cost any money. It's just very little time. But grounding and walking, those two things. I used to really kind of make fun of people who walked 10 years ago. I thought it was like, that's silly. Why would you walk when you can go run? My God, has that been a lifesaver for me? Most of us are on the screen and the computer and Zoom and those things. 20 to 30 minutes of walking is a one of the major things you can do to really get a more balanced HRV. And I could go through all the things, but from lymphatic system drainage to digestion to blood flow, all the things, right? And when you're walking, go for a walk and take a few moments to take your shoes off and just go in the grass. And there's a lot of studies in this, but they literally have shown, like they've had people wear energy measuring gauges and take their shoes off and go walk in grass, and they'll literally watch the electrons exchange with the earth. So it's not just hooey fooey. You literally feel better. So I mean, I'll be like, I'm like you said, you're a sign of where you need to kind of rest or relax, or like you can't take a deep breath. I think my sign is where I'm getting so confused and I can't figure out what next steps to take.
Nice.
That's what I know, right? I think a lot of people have that where you're like, I got to figure out. I'm like, I need to just go outside, go for a walk, take my shoes off, be in the grass, get the sun, right? And like you'll allow yourself to go back in parasympathetic. So the decisions in the sympathetic mode are the ones where you're stress decisions. That's like, you're breaking up with your boyfriend or girlfriend because you're just like, oh man, I can't stand this. You didn't actually think through the thing or allow yourself to feel it. When you're in parasympathetic, you have clear thought. The decisions are much more clear. And it's weird because most of us think, if I'm in the busy state, I'm going to get more done and I'm going to have better thought, but it's not. It's actually in the relaxed state that you actually save time, make more money, create more energy, and make better decisions about both business and your personal life. So
this has been perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Cody, for helping me break this down. Everyone, the challenge is go do 2 minutes right now.
Hell yeah.
As soon as you can take a break, like just go to the 2 minutes, shut everything down, close your eyes, either do the box breathing or just have some stillness. Join us both. Dr. Cody and I are going to both do that as well. Dr. Cody, always a pleasure. Love you, brother.
Love you, Aaron.
Love you, everybody. Soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
send us any comments if you have any. Take care.
I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.